kind of costume is this anyways?
Tell Greg we'll meet him at the party, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Is that supposed to be based on a possum? Hey, Greg. David said he'll meet you at the party. How much longer are you gonna be?
Not long, Dad. Not long at all.
He didn't say a word the entire evening. Of course, I wouldn't mind it if that happened again.
Enemy of corruption and greed, hero of the weak and downtrodden.
Well, this is it.
Whew! Taj Mahal.
All I'm saying is this is Emily's friends and work group. You might want to make a good impression. She may hire you one day. Don't give me that look.
I started getting into this theater bug and doing more theater productions. And after a point, I was kind of feeling a little let down by the end of a theater experience, where the cast kind of breaks away. And it's kind of gone, and it's not really, it's only there in your memory. And I thought, gosh, if we make a movie, you know, it'll always be there just the way we left it. So my friend Milo Miller and I embarked on writing the script for Hero Tomorrow. Then I spent an entire year storyboarding and did 1,500 images, which is really where I think I learned filmmaking. And then we cast, shot for a year, and I edited for a year, and then it was in festivals for 3 years. But that project really transformed my career. From that point on, I was shooting and editing for a living. Hero Tomorrow, Milo's original concept was sort of a Spider-Man meets Taxi Driver. And it's about a guy who has an idea for a superhero that he's trying to get published. And his idea for the superhero is that, you know, so many great heroes are based on creatures. You know, Batman, Ant-Man, Spider-Man. There was this other kind of animal that mankind hasn't really discovered yet.
What kind of costume is this anyways?
Tell Greg we'll meet him at the party, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Is that supposed to be based on a possum?
And that's the apama. The apama is just a word he makes up, and he is the avatar of the apama. So, but his girlfriend, who's an aspiring fashion designer, makes him an apama costume for Halloween. And she takes him to a fashion kind of Halloween party where she wants to impress her friends. But of course, David goes into the bathroom and starts smoking weed and getting in fights, and it ends up blowing up in her face.
David!
David starts living in a barn and trying to be a real superhero, and that goes about as well as you think it might. We didn't do a feature in the way I would ever recommend it. I mean, there's 42 locations in our movie. You know, there's probably 200 actors or extras. We staged things in a full fashion show with runway models. We had a comic book shop, and in trying to shoot in an actual comic book shop, we were told by both Marvel and DC that we could not show their characters, just in the background. So we ended up, you know, renting a vacant storefront, and we went to a bunch of comic book conventions, met publishers who were independent that were willing to just kind of donate works, posters, shirts, everything to stock a completely bare storefront. So when you see the shop in the movie, it's, I mean, keep that in mind, but it is exactly as we would have wanted a comic shop to be. It debuted at the big Comic-Con in San Diego, and that was a real blessing for us because we pushed the heck out of it with all the media, and we got covered on Attack of the Show on the G4 network.
Well, let's start with some of the picks. You brought the best of the best.
Yes.
Well, Hero Tomorrow.
Hero Tomorrow by Ted Sikora. The cool thing about this movie really is how ambitious it was on such a low budget.
IFC channel covered us because we were the only narrative feature that was shown at the Comic-Con Film Festival. And from there, we went on to Cleveland International, but we also played Fantasia in Montreal, which was a really good genre festival. And getting into that one, we were invited then to a bunch of other fests, like in Italy and Brazil and the Netherlands. So we had hired a sales agent to help us distribute the film. And there were a couple offers that came through, and This was in 2008, which was a notoriously bad year for selling any kind of film. Our offers were really poor, and it was really going to be the kind of thing where we could say, hey, we got a distribution deal, but we'll never see another penny, you know. So we thought about this character, Apama, that's in the movie, this weird idea. A lot of people who saw the film said, you know, this superhero that you're trying to develop in the movie really is kind of unique and weird, and I'd actually read it as a comic book. So we thought, why don't we actually do the book that's in the character's head. We were one of the first films to make a deal with iTunes without a traditional distributor on board. I think we were told we were one of the first 20. So, and that's a really good split for a filmmaker. You know, you get north of, I believe, 80% of sales. So again, we thought, if, gosh, we can let people know about the movie through the book, this is going to work out. We went ahead and did the first issue of the book. We started sending that out to all the contacts we had made from doing the film circuit, and we got a ton of great reviews on the comic book. It prompted us to do a second issue, and we've just released a collection of the first 5 now. What I recommend a lot of people do who have big, grand stories that they want to tell, I say, yeah, make a graphic novel. You know, I don't want to say that in a pessimistic way. I think that's a really positive way to do something, because you can control every panel, every page, and you can tell your story with no compromise. And if telling stories is really what's important to you, then that's an option. And you don't have to be at the mercy of some producer or you know, some finance that you just will maybe never attain. You do the graphic novel, and then you've got a great blueprint for a film, and you can really show it. So you kind of end up with this double gift in a way, and I think it's really something a lot of people would benefit from.